strategically, I can get it right. I'm gonna go where the winners go. 'Cause Ellen ain't an option, no, it ain't in my blood. All I do is try to.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic. This is the place where we go beyond surface level topics in relationships. This space provides us with the opportunity to dive into more personal and profound aspects of our lives. So, thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us on this evening. And we have some personal disclaimers. We have house rules. Respect. I would like to state that if disrespect is displayed in the chat or on the platform, you will be silenced or removed from the show. All right. So I'd like to welcome our co hosts, Lady Dawn B and Coach Pache. That's all y'all got. You ain't got no hellos
No,
for the
I got
people.
a happy Monday. It was a Monday at work,
Okay.
and Monday is Monday.
Oh,
Heard
okay.
that word I
Okay.
made
So
up?
Monday is okay, it's Monday. All right. And we just like to say hello to Anae. And we thank Anae for all that she does for the Bravo with Sheila Network. And we just say hello, hello,
Hey,
hello.
Elaine.
Hey, your name. What's popping, good people?
All right. So, Lady Dawn B, how's your Monday been?
It's over. I made it.
That
you know,
means it was Monday in.
Mondays are Mondays. They're doing what they do, so I'm surviving. I'm surviving, and I
Okay.
see y'all too. We all right.
All right. We're going to thank God for the Tuesday. All right. So,
Hey,
all right. With that being said, so we just wanted to take this opportunity as Lady Dawn B is here tonight. We're going to talk about courtship versus dating and is there a difference? But before we go into that, we just want to turn it over to Coach Pache.
Okay, out there, Mondays beyond the mic. I am jumping on to say that this will be my last Monday. And that is because, as you know, we all are God's girls, and God is moving in a different way in my life at this present time. And that is where my focus will be. So it's no, and I know how we get no. HG didn't fall out. I didn't fall out with Elaine. I ain't fall out with Lady Dawn B. It's just where God is taking me, and that is my primary focus right now. But I do want to say thank you all for tuning in every Monday. Don't stop tuning in because the show is not over. You have Dr. Elaine over there. You have Lady Dawn B and a plethora of other people that will be coming up. So continue to tune in, continue to lock in, continue to chime in, chat, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Want to say thank you to Bravo Sheila Network, my mom, for allowing me to be on this platform. It was a privilege and an honor. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, and salute Alonzo. So, yeah, this will be my last night. I'm not even staying on all night long, but I had to jump on and say that I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in every Monday. Continue to tune in on Mondays because the show is not over. The show will continue. So, thank you again.
All right. So we have some says, "Oh, praying for the path that God is leading you on."
Thank you. Listen, you know with him, all things are possible and nothing's ever bad. So yeah, just excited about the new journey, and that's where I'm at. Maybe I'll come
And a
back and give
lot.
up.
No, well, you're always welcome. So we wanted to make sure there was no rumors flying that, we was fighting over
Yeah,
territory or something.
lies. We don't do that. We a true sisterhood here. So and it sure enough wouldn't be a YouTube show breaking us up. I promise you that.
of all things.
I promise you it will not be a YouTube show. Okay, that's that. So y'all have an
Uh,
amazing show.
All right. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, for those of you If you're just tuning in, Coach Pache did say her final farewell to everyone as she is pursuing other things. HG is still in full effect, but she will no longer be on Mondays Beyond the Mic. So we thank Lady Dawn B for stepping right in and being the co-host. And we are excited about where we're going. So tonight's topic, just in case you're just tuning in, we're talking about dating versus courtship. But before we do that, we must celebrate Women's History Month.
Yes,
All right,
yes, yes.
just came out of Black History Month, now Women's History Month. So we want to highlight some women this month. And Lady Dawn B, who are we highlighting tonight?
Well, tonight we are highlighting Dr. Corbett. So today we celebrate Dr. Kismika S. Corbett, born January 26, 1986. All right, come on now. An American viral immunologist. I got it all wrong. I practiced saying it 62 times. Now I can't say it. Immunologist. She is an assistant professor of immunology and infectious diseases at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and assistant professor at the Harvard Radcliffe Institute since June of 2021. She joined Harvard following 6 years at the Vaccine Research Center at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, National Institutes of Health, based in Bethesda, Maryland. She earned a PhD in microbiology and immunology from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 2014. Appointed to the VRC in 2014, Corbett was a postdoctoral scientist of the VRC's COVID-19 team, with research efforts aimed at COVID-19 vaccines, responsible for the Moderna vaccine. So salute to you, our sister, Dr. Kismeta S. Corbett.
All right. And just to think, it was a Black woman who helped or was responsible for the vaccine so we can come outside again.
Right.
As they say, if
Thank
you
you.
want something done,
You gotta do it yourself. Gotta do it yourself. Thank you for allowing us to get outside because inside was terrible. But we free now.
yes, 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 and yes. So today we're going to discuss courting versus dating, and is there a difference? So I wanted to ask Lady Dombey, do you think that there's a difference, and if so, how?
I absolutely do believe that there's a difference between courting and dating. To me, you can go out on a date. This is the problem that we have. We go into dating with the mindset that this is the one. Always, this is the one. And we don't give ourselves a chance to just get to know someone. Dating is just the opportunity to go out, have a good time, learn something about somebody, go back home. It's okay to date multiple people. I think as long as you're honest, but a date is just that. It is a date. You are finding your way to finding your mate. When it comes to courting, I believe you've made a selection of someone that you want to commit to and take it further, with that being the mindset of, marriage is not the end goal for everyone, but courting is the term that's used most often preceding marriage. So courting is a more committed space of dating. You single them out. You ain't courting everybody now. Don't, you only marry just one at a time. But I believe that that's the one. Courting is the next level. It's between the dating and marriage.
Okay, okay. So let's take a little dive into seeing, like, when did dating start? So according to list.com, dating is a broad term that can mean casual dating, hooking up, or being in a long-term relationship. The concept of dating actually began in the turn of the 20th century. There have been culture changes in dating. Dating became more about enjoying each other's company in a social context rather than the prelude to marriage. This partly influenced by the growing idea of individualism and personal choice. Romantic love started to become more central to the process of pairing. So I think that's interesting to think about, dating, the cultural change, what that looks like, maybe, in the early, let's say 1900s, like think like 1940, 1950, 1960s. What did that look like versus what it looks like now to us? Um, I just think that's very interesting. uh, Gender roles. Dating in the early 20th centuries began to shift the power dynamics in relationships. While men typically initiated dates, women started to gain more agency in choosing their partners. However, gender expectations were still significant, with men expected to pay for dates and lead the courtship process. What do you think about that?
This is funny because I was thinking about this today, and it made me think of how aggressive do men really want a woman to be? You know, sometimes with this change of power, you waiting for the man to be the man. Now, I'm old fashioned. I'm with a modern twist. So I'm more like traditional. Like I need you to, hey Marilyn, how you doing, sis? Thanks for joining. I need you to, if you set the pace, I'll keep the flow. I need you to approach. But some men nowadays prefer for a woman to approach you. But I feel like when a woman approaches you, if we approached you, men, how you approach women, you seem to not like that too much. If I walked up to you like, hey, boo, what's happening? Like, I like the way your clothes is laying on that body. Like, what we doing? Can I get you a drink? Can I borrow your phone? I need to put my number in it. Whatever it is, men start to feel, you start to feel a little, like some men feel a little feminine. Because you're like, hold up, I'm supposed to be the pursuer, so I feel like men may want some women, and it's not all men, some men may want women to express how we feel or to make the approach because you want to feel wanted. But I feel personally for me, again, I would rather you make the initial approach, and I will respond in like kind. And then I will, at some point, we can have the exchange of power. But initially, 9 times out of 10, or maybe 7 out of 10, because at this big age, sometimes you just got to go for what you want. I might throw a little hint out there, just saying. So that's my take on it.
I don't know. I think for me, I'm still old fashioned. It would be hard for me to be the pursuer. I would probably fall back more and just like, okay, and wanting him to lead. And I think sometimes you said something earlier with the twist. I think when we think of maybe like our parents or our grandparents, where they were more of the stay at home, moms, because I think a lot of times men see you in your workplace, in your flow, that you become across like, oh no, she may be too aggressive, or she may be, and not really realizing, no, she doesn't really want to be that. She's being what she has to be, right, for her life or for her family, but she really wants to fall back and say, yeah, let him ask me for a date and let him take the lead. And I say for myself, I'm like, I'm leading from the time I wake up. Somebody please take the reins.
That part. That part.
To hear from any men,
Yeah.
to hear like, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And while we're waiting for the men to either chat, or if we can drop the link so they can come up, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we love super chats. Super chats will get your comment read first. So come on, men, talk to us.
Right. And I also think sometimes when we approach a man, I feel like whoever leads off is the one who has the control of the relationship. Like, you're guiding the ship. Whoever gets in the driver's seat gotta drive the car. So if I start out that way, I feel like you may always expect me to be that way. And then I will be taking on that dominant role as, male performing, spaces, as we're, putting, for lack of a better term. And then I feel like I'm guiding the whole relationship, but yet then men are supposed to be the head of the household, or the head of, and that's what I'm looking for. And then later on, it's hard to switch power. It's hard to make that exchange after that. So
I agree. So they talk about sexual liberation. It says the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 70s had a profound impact on dating. As more permissive attitudes towards sex and relationships developed, this changed the way people viewed romantic and sexual relationships, making them less focused on marriage and more about personal pleasure, compatibility, and autonomy.
well,
That's kind of heavy.
it is. It is very heavy because um, yeah, we're supposed to. Well, everybody, whatever your moral compass is, but being God's girls, biblically, yes, that whole sexual piece is supposed to be maintained, saved for marriage. But people, and this is just speaking freely, just want to be free to love who they want to love, without those boundaries. And although that's not my personal preference, but I can respect it. If you like it, if you love it, I like it for you. That whole piece about being free and in the liberation of wanting what you want without having the commitment of relationship. For me, it's like, I don't want to share myself with someone that I'm not committed to down the line just because it feels good today. Because today I just feel like, hey, I want to, let me hang out with Tommy, and then tomorrow I might want to hang out with Jerry, and then the next day I might want to hang out with Mark, and you have to be mindful. I just feel like at the end of the day, the things that we, our personal pleasures still have to be harnessed in some way, because then you start sharing too much of you with too many people. And then what do you have when you do meet someone that you want to be in this intimate space with? I think it desensitizes, or it can desensitize us to that intimacy with that one person. That's how I think.
I think that's a great point. I think in our society, if we go back how things have changed, it's almost this expectation. Like,
Absolutely.
oh, what's wrong? And if you are going against, quote unquote, what seems the norm now, you're like, what's wrong with you? And what are you saving it for? Or what is,
Cool. I hate
it's, what, I didn't hear you.
I said, oh, I dislike that statement so much.
Well, it's funny because I remember someone saying, this is me, dating, and someone saying to me, like, well, what is it that you're waiting for? You have children. I said, yeah, but I had children with my husband. And I asked the person, I was like, well, what was your longest relationship? And the person said 3 months. No, sorry, 3 years. And I was like, well, that's about the time that you lease a car,
Nope,
and then you give it back.
that
So
part.
there's never been a commitment. So I do think that it says a lot from where we are. And let's just read. Marilyn said, you want to share without being labeled. Right. So you want the freedoms of without the commitment of. And I think that's where we are. But then I also think that's why people don't trust. People don't, there's so many things that, or layers, and I'm going to use your word, especially at this big old age, right, that we have going on because of all of our past encounters, and just going from, women as receivers and men as givers, we then take on their personalities. We start to act like them. We start to and if you have too many encounters, you just all over the place because you got about 5, 10, whatever the body count is of personalities.
Right.
So
Right. You're right. I agree. And it's crazy because when people ask that, well, when that statement comes up, it's triggering for me. It's like what do you wait? What are you saving it for? I'm like, well, obviously not you. Obviously not you. And you will never know what I'm saving it for because we're done here. Because I want, like, how many other women? Why should you? I'm not a sample. We're not. It's not a taste test, And you don't get to have the benefits without having a job. There are requirements. Like, it is so commonplace, and it upsets me honestly when a man or a woman has that attitude, because then it's saying to me, like, you don't even care enough about yourself. you know
right,
like, how free are you with yourself? I'm all for being sexually liberated. I get it. Go for it. But within the confines of your relationship, not with everybody that you meet. Not with everybody. There has to be, and again, just Dawn 101. The Book of Dawn. That's it. Be as free as you want within the constraints of your relationship. But I'm not having relations with everybody just because.
right.
When doing that, it's not special anymore, and then you're not special anymore. It's just like it becomes somebody else's turn. you know that's
Wow.
it. Sorry,
You
y'all.
got next. Okay. Um, so it talks about online dating. It says with the rise of the internet in the late 20th and 21st century, online dating emerged a new way for people to meet and form relationships. Platforms like Match.com, eHarmony, Tinder, and others have allowed individuals to meet partners based on shared interests, values, preferences, changing the way people approach dating. So, what do you think about online dating?
Well, online dating is a beast of its own. It's its own. I can't say that I have not done it. I don't know that it's not my favorite place. Um, at this point in life, because now online dating has turned into a whole nother animal, depending on where you are, where you go. But I think that when it initially started, it gave people the opportunity to get to know the person without all the other prefaces, without all the, we go out on this first date and everybody's bringing their whole perfect representative and forgetting the core of who the person is, who you really are at home. We're doing
Right.
all these elaborate first dates and all that without, you might be great going, to dinner at the Waldorf, but you might be horrible going to the store, around the corner, your attitudes. And we don't get to see that because I'm trying to impress you on this night. With online dating, it allows you the opportunity to be your total self without judgment. Or, the downfall is it allows you to be whoever you want to be, whether it's real or not. So I mean, I have met, in the time that I did do online dating, I met some very nice men. um One I actually did date for a time. I did. It was cool. It was long distance, but it was cool. Good person. He wasn't, a stalker, anything like that. He turned out to be all right. But I think it's a great opportunity. I just always say proceed with caution.
I totally agree. I think I have done online dating, and I think you look at it or I looked at it as, at the end of the day, maybe I'll just meet a friend. You know, not necessarily going, is this my husband? Is this my husband? But maybe I'll just meet a friend, someone I've never met before. After vetting, that you can be whoever you want to be behind the screen name, but who are you authentically? And I think that shows up, and you definitely have to use your discernment to be able to say, no, switch. So I do think that that is, it is a way, especially for people who don't come outside. If you're not outside, you're not in the nightlife and things like that, how else are you going to meet people? I mean, people say, oh, you can meet somebody in church. When I go to church, I don't go to church looking for anyone. I got one man I want to see and want to meet me there, and his name is Jesus. So if it ain't outside of it, I'm not like, well, maybe it's him, you know. So I think for me, church would be a very hard place for me to meet someone. So yes, please hit the like button. Please, please, please like, subscribe, share if you're on. Let us know that you're on. We want some gentlemen. Are the men scared? Hey, Lee. Lee says, I'm way too paranoid for that, especially because of my daily grind. Think the contrary. I think people can catfish you too much online, and that's possible. I think it's just a matter of proceeding with caution. Um, and again, if you're not a person that you got to think, where am I going to really meet someone?
Yeah, and people catfish you in person too. Pretending to be one thing. Court dating you into this space of commitment, and then turn out to be something totally opposite. But I think online dating gives you the option to broaden your horizons and branch out and meet people. Because I mean, how many times you in your neighborhood, nobody want to date Pookie, Ray Ray, and them, and no, nothing personal to Pookie, Ray Ray, and them, because everybody love y'all. But if you don't get out of your neighborhood, you will never meet anyone else. How else do you meet other people in other places? So.
And if you in a neighborhood that is not your kind of people, I mean, and when I say that, it's just not the kind of people you would date. So you also got to think of where are those places. Bravo with Sheila says, where are the places people can meet people in the daytime? Please, inquiring minds want to know.
But
so it's like we're not.
I think we all since this COVID shutdown and everybody's been indoors, everybody's like scared to go back out and live again, and I get it and I understand that, but I think we have to start engaging and doing things again. Go to a movie, go to the museum, do something you've never done before. Go to do an escape room. You'll meet people, the things that you're interested in. And start going to those places, even if you go by yourself, because I think that's another problem too. We don't want to go out by ourselves. Well, if you go out with 15 other women, how are you supposed to stand out to anybody? They see 14 other women, So sometimes you have to go in a smaller group or go out by yourself. But I would just say, go start doing the things that you're interested in, or something that you've never done before. Go to the gym, act like you can't lift a 5-pound weight. I don't know. Ask for help.
All right. So let's kind of just segue in. I would love for some men to jump on and tell us their opinion. I think that this is probably one of those topics men are like, nah, I'm not going to do this with them tonight. But we would love to hear. We just want to hear. We want to know. We're inquiring minds want to know.
We need Vaughn to come on and tell us how he went from dating to courting to the window story, or T to come on and tell us,
So if we can kind of talk through, it's like casual versus serious dating. So today dating is diverse, with people choosing between casual hookups, long-term relationships, and everything in between. The pressure to marry quickly has decreased, and people tend to take their time exploring different relationships before settling down. The rise of the hookup culture and apps like Tinder and Bumblebee reflects this shift. Now, what do you think about, like, I don't even know if I could be like, oh, I just want to hook up. I mean, like, what does that even look like? And we dropped the link. So if there are any men, women, welcome. But I would love to get some men thoughts on this. What do you think about that?
Yeah. This whole hookup culture, it's I'm not with that. It's too much for me. It's just too much. I can't do I'm an emotional person, so In my heart, I get attached. I don't really know how to do surface really well, so um, the Tinder, but I've heard of Tinder. I'm not versed in it, so I can't speak against it. But the whole concept of having I guess in our day, called like the one night stand, or if it's equivalent to that, it's just the moment. Um, the moment is just that. I think I'm buffering. Okay, I
Yeah.
think I'm back.
Oh,
Um, Okay, I'm not really good with just the moment. If the moment is not building to some greater moment with the same person, like I can't get with you. That's too much of an investment for me. To me, that's friendship. We can go out, we can hang out, but I can't get all in. And that's just me. Some people don't want that long term commitment. Some people don't want to invest that much of themselves. They don't want to know you for life. They just want to know you for the night, and possibly, another day or get you out, I'm like that. I can't sign up for that. It's not my thing. I can't. It's too
well,
much for me.
I'm gonna say, Lady Dawn B, we're birthday twins, so I think we got the same vein. I'm like, I'm loyal to a fault. When I'm in, I'm in, and I
Right.
can't. So, and I'm not. You just have to know who you are, and I think that's the main thing. But let's do a little shift. Let's go to this clip that we have with this gentleman talking about courting versus dating, and then we'll talk about
Main
courting
difference
after this.
between dating and courtship. I have done both.
Gotcha.
I have done both. Trust me. I've been on both sides of the fence, right? Dating comes with you showing up. You have an interest for a person. You show up and you see what happens. You just go with the vibes. Not much intentionality there. Maybe y'all speak about marriage. Maybe y'all don't. Y'all ask each other just a little cute questions. What's your favorite color and all that stuff, right? But courtship is very intentional. Courtship says, I'm not just here showing up, but I'm actually starting with the beginning in mind. I'm coming here for marriage. Are you coming with me? Courtship takes more patience, more diligence, more intentionality. You understanding the person's character. Therefore, when their flaws show up, when their humanity show up, you don't overlook it, you address it, but it makes you stay. Dating says, our time has passed. We was cool, but I'm not cool with the conflict that has been caused here. The reason why that's a major issue is because in relationships, period, you get to a point where you either separate at some point or you continue to come together. And when that separation period happens, I'm not talking about physically, but I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, spiritually sometimes. You look at the person's character over time. Intentionality looks at it and go, this is a bad season, but you don't have a bad heart. Dating makes you overlook that step, overlook that process, and just go, I could find better. Courting is the best way to go, but you can only do this with God. It comes with all the fruit of the spirit: gentleness, patience, love, joy, etc. I could go on. But courtship is a beautiful thing. You are my friend until we are married, but we are exclusive from the very beginning. You don't court multiple people at one time, but you could date whoever you want. It's not right. If you are dating, technically, you can show up and do whatever you want. There's no structure, no boundaries or parameters to anything. Y'all might agree on some things, but it's kind of going with the flow. Courtship says, I'm showing up for you intentional every day. If I only got 10 minutes, then I'm gonna give you that 10 minutes. If only I have to just drive to you, then no matter how far you are, at some point I'm going to drive to you. You're coming to church with me. Like intentionality. I don't just get you general gifts. I get you thoughtful gifts. Unfortunately, many people haven't been courted, so they don't exactly know what that look like. But I think that should be societal norms. Being courted, not being dated. When you court, you collect data on that person. Get to know each other's character. And you'll be in it forever. Even if it don't work, you'll be great friends. Enjoy your day.
All right. That was a lot. That was a lot. So I see that we have some gentlemen, at least in the chat. I would love for them to come up and just drop some knowledge on our thoughts. So Sir Hale speaks, says The formula: friendship, courting, marriage, dating. That's right. You should forever date your wife or husband. All right. Anae says, I love that. William Michael Barbie said, good evening. Great topic. Come on, gentlemen. Come up. Don't leave the sisters up here by ourselves. Help us. Enlighten us. Hey, Mike. Come on, Mike. And behave.
Am I on?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Always. Cool. So why am I delayed? Hold on.
No, we hear you.
Wait.
Okay, so Mike is having some. No, come on, Mike. We need all the mics. So William
Oh,
Michael, come on with Mike.
Vaughn is in the building. Come on, Vaughn. Come.
Vaughn, we need you. Sir Hale, we need you. Or we can go on and talk about courting if we want to discuss the clip. All right, well, we can start some courtship talk, Lady Dawn.
All right. Well, courtship, it says, is more than traditional and involves getting to know your partner with the expectation that marriage is the end goal. Commitment: when you're courting someone, there's an expectation that you're in this to develop a serious relationship and get married in the near future. Now, I want to pause there, I think, for the moment, because a lot of things that he said in the clip. Vaughn, don't be laughing in the comment section. Come on up here and laugh on the
Come on
platform.
up.
We ain't heard your laugh in a minute. We need that. Um, I can definitely agree with him about the intentionality in courting. It's a difference. I think dating is something that you should do always. Dating never stops. I think once you make that one-on-one decision that this is who you're committed to, dating should continue through the relationship, because we're forever evolving. So we are forever getting to know different parts of ourselves, and I'm showing you a different part of me, you're showing me a different part of you. And one really important thing is that we have to remember that in this process of dating and courtship, when you get to that committed point where you are with the person that you've chosen to enter into marriage or this committed space with, guess what? You both are going to become a whole different type of person, because now you are putting your lives together. It doesn't mean you lose your individuality, but you are now becoming different. You're evolving, because there's certain things that you may have done before that now you're with this person. You have to be mindful of another person's presence, another person's feelings, another person's attitudes, another person's needs. So some things you're going to pull back. Some things about you may have been dominant before may now take a back seat or might become a little bit more settled. And it's vice versa. You know, it's on both sides, because that's the whole process of learning each other and building in courtship. What I like to think of, you know, that teamwork, that partnership, you know, that committed partnership, that we're creating something that's a oneness while not losing our individuality at the same time. You know, I'm a pause right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, let the gentleman have a word. Mike?
Okay. So the gentleman that was on before with the clip was so very on point as far as the difference between dating and courtship. But I think that you start off by dating. You start off with a date, and then courtship is a mutual agreement. So it's a process. You don't just meet somebody and court them right away. You get to know somebody, and that person gets to know you, and you both agree that you're worth the courtship. And I think a lot of people, I'm not going to say women, but I feel like women want that intention right away, and that intention of courtship. But it's a learning process. Is you have to you know find out if this is someone that you want to be courted by, or is this someone that the male wants to court. So I think that comes through the process of dating. And I'm not saying that you date for a long time, but you kind of get to know each other and say, you know what, you're somebody that I want to court. And I think that process um, needs to be done.
Okay. I do think a part of that, if I can say, in the clip, he talked about uh, it's in the beginning, you know your intent. Like, and when I doesn't mean with that person, but
Right.
knowing, do I want to get married, or am I good just dating? I think those are the conversations that possibly need to be had, because if one person is thinking ultimately I want to get married and the other person is thinking I never want to get married, then there's going to be a problem. But let's hear what Vaughn has to say. We missed the laugh, Vaughn.
Yo,
How everybody doing today?
We're good.
I think it depends on the individual. Like I like what Mike said and what Doctor said. Depends on where you at in your life. Someone that really wants to, be courted and get married, where that mindset at? Are they able, even though you're ready and you believe you're ready, does that get you in your emotions that you're blind, that you can't see the person is this person is you want to be with? And if they trying to court you, are you ready to be with that person? And I think it depends on where you at in your life with your mindset. Um, if I'm dating, I may be dating Dr. Elaine. I don't know. She like to go shopping. I don't know if I'm able to go shopping and when she go shop. So I don't know if I'm ready to court somebody like that. But Dr. Elaine might like, hey, this man is going with me shopping. He may be the one that I can court. So it depends on where you at in your life and the person that you're trying to court, or are you ready? Is your mindset ready? Is your heart ready? And then it's so much. It's a complex situation because I've seen people that want to get married so bad, and then they marry the person. Then 3-4 months down the line, they was like, "Man, I wish I made a mistake."
I wish I had dated first.
Right. I wish I had dated longer. That's true. I wish I had dated longer, or been patient. And some people just I like that.
I mean, I don't know if you want to say something, Lady Dawn.
no, I agree. I agree with what they were saying. I can definitely get it from that perspective. And I was just gonna say, every good date doesn't make a good mate. You could be
Yeah,
the
I like
best
that.
friend or girlfriend in the world, but when it gets down to that exchange, when it comes to the courtship, now, this is where you really find out if the person is really about what they say they're about. This is, really the space where you find out if the apples really align with the apples and the orange, like what do we really have on the table? And this is the space where I've dated you, and now I'm at a point of committing. And the sensitive part about it to me is that, your intentionality is an investment. How much am I going to invest? This is where this is my place of investing in you, and in us. And an investment with no return is
Wasted money.
yeah, you may say that's like a scam.
You know, I just wanted to add to something, to Vaughn's comment. I think a part of it is there's a difference between some people are in love with a wedding.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
people are in love with the thought of being a wife or being a husband or saying my husband, my wife, whatever, opposed to being in love with the person. They're in love with the idea of being a wife or the idea of being a husband, not really understanding what that entails and the work that goes into being in a relationship and choosing your partner, or you, the two of you choosing one another, to be able to say, I am willing to put the work in for you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And I think that's where people say, oh man, I wish I never got married, because the reasoning, and I think going back to something that Sir Hale said, was let's be friends first. Because too many times we like, oh, I like the way you make me feel, but can we be friends? Can we just talk about anything? I think that's the part that's missing. Or it's just like, oh, we have great chemistry, but can we hold a full conversation, talk for hours about absolutely nothing but everything at the same time? Like there's no set agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could.
Well,
Yeah, that's wisdom right there. Yeah, can you be friends? But sometimes does it? You could be. Have you ever seen it that y'all friends, and it's like, man, but do I want to be intimate? Because she seems like she's my best friend, and it's like, do you want to go further with that friendship? Because sometimes you might get, like you said, you might get scared that all of a sudden we go into that intimate part, it'll throw things off. So
but
how
if
do you
you're
get your
courting them,
mindset? How do you get your mindset? You see what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm saying? How do you get your mindset in that situation?
Whether you should
but
take
I
them out of the friend zone, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. How do you get your mindset, to take them as friends only? Because sometimes you get scared. People get scared when they especially after they left a relationship, they get a little scared of like, wait a minute, we get along so good. Is this person just want me as a friend? And even though you may ask a person may like, yeah, but they don't want to tell you no because they like the friendship so much.
You know what? I think that kind of goes with William Michael Barbie, his comment. He said, communication is key. Men and women communicate differently. And I think the communication, if we should be able to say, I'm going to tell you this, and I hope it doesn't change the friendship. Or maybe it will enhance, I really enjoy the time that we spend together, so and so. I think if a man told a woman that, she would respect it. And if you're friends, because that's the basis of your communication, is that's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to lose my friend.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because friends are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the number of probably girlfriends, and for women, boyfriends that you dated versus how many people are your friend.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the ones I dated, we became, we was best friends. But
Oh, well,
sometimes
you different, Vaughn. Most Michael Barbie said at Eric Vaughn, when you want to shift the relationship, and I think that's true.
yeah, that's true. That's
But
true.
I
Go ahead.
think
Go
if
ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I think that if you, because this is the season I'm in right now for me. For me, it's all or nothing. It's no choosing. Why do I have to choose? Like, who told us that we have to choose between friendship and relationship? You
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of people, it becomes a wall and a problem for them because it's like, well, that's my friend, but I can't see them as such and such. Well, don't you want when you are not friends within your relationship, that's a piece that's missing. And that's what causes us to go outside of our committed relationships, and it causes problems. It's well, why are you talking to him so much? Well, he's my best male friend. Well, that's supposed to be me, and we have to get rid of that mentality that I cannot be in relationship or commitment or courtship or marriage with my best friend. It should not be it shouldn't be another person. It should not be a different person. If this is who I'm trusting my heart, my soul, and my feelings with, then that's the person I should be willing to take the risk with. Because if we have that solid foundation, and that's most important, then nothing else should be able to break that. A lot of marriages break up and end over accused infidelity with the best friend outside. You know.
Oh, okay. You talk. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some relationships, it becomes a conflict, and you have to be willing to take that risk. Make it make sense. You know, make it make sense. If my comfort is with you, then why am I looking somewhere else for something? Then you're doing a do-it-yourself kit. You know, you want a patchwork quilt type relationship. I like this with him. I like that about her. You know, and you really want that with one person.
Oh, you want that? Okay. But they might have you. But see, women, both men and women. There's some people that have just a great personality. Like, for instance, y'all have a good personality. Y'all can get along with most people, right? So shouldn't that, and the way y'all relationship, the way y'all personality is, it seems like when someone is talking to y'all, they automatically feel though, hey, I'm this person's best friend or a good friend right away. Because some people have that personality attracts people to them. So you saying that if a person may get upset, because you said outside the person may get upset because they think that you're friends with another person.
I think what.
Go ahead, Elaine.
No, I think what she was saying was a lot of times infidelity happens based on those friends because you're not having that friendship with your person.
Okay.
My mentor said this before. My mentor's wife said this. If you have to get out of bed to tell your good news to somebody else, you didn't marry your best friend. And I thought that was deep. If you know something good is happening in your life and you're thinking about somebody else to call before you call, in this case, your spouse or the person that you potentially want to be your spouse, then that's not your person, because you want to share your good news with the person who you think supports you and loves you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead. No, I can see that. But I was just, I guess I was confused because when you said that's, you want to share it with that person. But okay, I got it now.
So yeah, you don't have to, you know, and some people it's okay with that. If that's what works for you, then that's fine, you know. But typically I would think, and it's just my thought, that person that I know, for me, the person that I want to be able to tell you all my stuff. I want you to be the first person that I tell, you know, because your opinion matters the most. I want you to be my number one cheerleader. I don't want to have to go outside. To me, it is emotionally exhausting when my feelings are all over the place. Oh, I have to go to Mike to tell him this, even though I'm dating Vaughn, you know, for instance, and I can't tell him this yet. I'm gonna go tell Mike first because I get the energy from Mike that I need back. That's reciprocating. That's feeding, you know, that space. And it's not to say that me and Vaughn are good, you know, but this is when we start compartmentalizing people. And I believe that takes away from the courtship as well. And which actually in the next point, it leads kind of segue into it, which is emotional attachment in courtship. Partners are expected to open up emotionally and get close to each other relatively fast since marriage is on the horizon. Then it also talks about family involvement. Again, so if you're not the one who I am opening up to emotionally in this space, then that something in there says that I don't feel safe enough with you to share whatever it is. So maybe this isn't the best person for you to, you know, be in a courtship with. Maybe you can date them, but in courtship, it's, you know, this is where I'm revealing all of my stuff, you know.
Wait, this is when you transfer from dating into a courtship, correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What say you, Dr. E?
I mean, I agree. I agree that we need to just understand, like, we have the attachment piece to it. And if I open up emotionally, I'm like, nah, we together now. You know, because I'm
What?
sharing with you how I feel. Everyone doesn't get that version of, and I'm gonna speak for myself. Everyone doesn't get that version of me. To your point, Vaughn, I can talk to anyone. I can go out to dinner and sit across from anyone, but I'm not gonna open up to everyone.
That
Yeah,
part.
but you said once you do, you feel as though y'all pretty much together, correct?
I was joking, but if I'm in there, that was a joke, you know. But if I feel like, we have established and we've had that communication of where we stand, and my thing is, say what you mean what you say. And Lady Dawn B's word, at this big old age, we need to
This
be able to say, this is where I am. And then let the person respect where you are. Now, if somebody else wants to think otherwise, you can't stop people from thinking, but you do need to communicate. This is where I see myself in the long term. If I'm going to go date someone, my question is, do you want to get married? If that person says no, I am not going to say in my head, I am going to convince him that he's going to marry me. No, because that's already a no in his head. So now I need to govern myself accordingly to be able to say, you know what, we can be friends, we can hang out, but I know he's not my person because he's already established that he doesn't want to get married.
You talk about when y'all first date, right? That
I
you
mean,
would
if
have.
we just talk about it, not saying, and again, it's not about marrying me, but if the person doesn't want to get married, period,
Oh, okay.
then they're not going to change because they're having a conversation with me.
right.
Mm.
Oh, William
And,
Michael
and,
Barbie, we one mic to the other. What's your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think Mike and Vaughn have been holding it down. Um, I have been blessed to facilitate a man support group. And there, we started almost 2 years ago. We have 137 men. We meet
mm,
every other weekend, 2 hours. We have topics ranging from relationships to death, transitioning through losses, the recent. And what I've learned about myself, and I would speak for men, is that we owe women an apology for how we've shown up in relationship, in courting, in dating. We've brought a lot of our brokenness to the table and laid it at your doorstep, with you having expectations of meeting whoever your ideal gentleman is. And one of the things that I must also say, as an apology to women across the board, I apologize for my brokenness and how I've shown up. So I think that represents men. The communication factor between men and women are completely different. Not to give an excuse for how we show up. Um, Women have, for every one word a man has, a woman has three. And when women from early on, and Dr. E, I'm always talking about this, women have always had permission to emote. We're learning how to emote. That's why we die sooner, unfortunately, because we haven't found that vehicle or felt comfortable enough in that vehicle to permit ourselves to emote. And so when we show up to you, it's not that we're so much broken, no different than you're broken in a different way. We just haven't been afforded the opportunity of expression or being comfortable in our feelings to express it. So when I'm listening to this conversation on courting, um, things that women may feel is the turn on to them may not be what the man is really driving. A woman see a strong man, she think, oh, well, he's my friend, he wants me, and it's not always the case. And neither does every man want to get in your drawers. And so that has to be very clear as well. I think a lot of times women have in their head, they go to church and they see the perfect couple, the pastor, and they think that that's going to be who their husband's supposed to be, and the husband's at home, and he don't want to see that joker because he sees the brokenness as well. It is what it is. But I'm here to say that I'm happy to be here. But I like the conversation and the topic. I'm sorry my brother Mike left and brother Vaughn started caving in because Mike wasn't there to support me. Brother Von Eric started acquiescing to what he was hearing. I said, "Nah, Von, stay your point with Lady Dawn, man. Push back on it, man. Even if you don't agree, or do.
Nah, I
Stay
ain't
true
messing
to
with
that
you.
point, man. I'm in your
I
corner."
ain't messing. Hey, I was getting ready to go there, but I ain't went.
I know. I saw you back down though. I was like, "Yo." I even started writing in the comment because one of the things that Lady
I was getting ready.
Dawn said, I was like, partially true, but then I forgot what the point was.
Yeah, I was getting ready.
But it was around that same line.
She know me. She know I'm gonna come at it with it.
Ain't no fit here. Ain't no fit here. We already know how to get down. So.
Listen,
But I do like
those
what,
are
I do like what Mike said. Some men are broken, and then when they try to get into a relationship, they end up either not just hurting the woman, but themselves even more because they bearing too much of that hurtness, and then they add to it by getting into a relationship. I wasn't that type of man, but I would apologize for my deceiving tactics that I used on women to accomplish my agenda of the world that we live in. So I wasn't a broken man, but I did use deceiving tactics because I had to when women used to do certain things, and I talked to my mother or my aunt because I learned from them. They were like, "Man, you know what you did. You know what you did. So why are you sitting up here complaining about it and saying why she acted this way or why she did that way?" And those things I do feel bad about because when I use the deceiving tactics and not to pay attention of where this woman is at in her life, and I'm adding to her burden when I want to just accomplish my agenda and not looking at her and see where she is. And sometimes that takes a lot from her woman because she put all her emotions into me, and I disrespected by just doing things like that. So I apologize on that.
well.
Can
I
I
wanna
add to
say-
that? Because you see what's happening here, right? The brothers are apologizing. And I respect Brother Eric Vaughn for acknowledging that part along with myself. But when I use the word broken, it's not particularly to say that it can't be repaired. It doesn't mean that that broken crayon still doesn't color, because it does. When I say brokenness is when you are in the way that you just articulated, Brother Vaughn. You knew what you was doing. Therefore, something wasn't whole in you. And so that's the broken piece that I was speaking to, that we all come to the table with. And the deceit that women use just as well at times. It happens on both sides.
Right.
The goal is to know that we're broken and be willing to address and hold each other accountable and hold ourselves accountable. It's about that self-awareness as well when we talk about the success in the relationship. So I applaud you, Brother Eric.
Well,
Thank you.
I think that this was excellent, and I thank you for both William Michael Barbie and Eric Vaughn for apologizing to women. And that's a level of maturity, and vice versa. As for the women who have deceived and done those things, to be able to say, "This is who I was. Now this is who I am." And I think that's where, if we're going to have the real conversations and Lady Dawn's be at this big old age, then we need to be accountable. Thank you, Marilyn, for that. Accountability is refreshing. This is who I was, but this is who I am. And I'm going to tell you, because for me, I'm a person that tells people I don't like surprises. So tell me everything I need to know so that no one could come to me and try to disarm me, because I already know. So I'm armed with your truth, and vice versa. You're armed with my truth. And then we can walk together, because when you're like, "Oh, I already know that." It's the element of surprise that usually makes the relationship broken. So this has been a great. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something, Eric? Oh.
No,
Yes,
I was just saying when you said element of surprise. That's all. I would just repeat that.
Oh, okay.
Well,
William?
I was going to say to Brother Vaughn, it's refreshing to hear Dr. East summarized what we've articulated in an apology, but yet she did say that it's a level of maturity. However, we didn't hear it reciprocated.
See, I knew you was going with Women History
Hey,
Month.
look
You
here,
gonna
Lady
apologize
Dawn. I saw
again?
your head moving, Lady Dawn. I had to go there. You know, Mike is not on here right now, so I got to speak for Mike because this is what Mike could be saying.
I was waiting. I was like,
Y'all were trying to close out without. Nah, I ain't hear no apology and all this maturity talk. Yeah. But wait. Let me say this before we go too far. So with our men's support group, we're 137 men now. So we do very well. And so one of the things was, hey, Mike, asking me, when are you going to invite women into this thing in the co-ed thing? And I said, well, brother, and it's to my point here of that maturity level. I said, for 2 years, we've been working on our emotional intelligence. And whether or not you believe it or not, the time that you've been putting into this thing on building that emotional intelligence, knowing your emotion, knowing your triggers, allowing yourself to be emotionally present, offering empathy, conflict resolution within self and others, forgiveness, all of these things, we've been very intentional. So we've been raising that level of emotional intelligence. Just because our sisters may have felt, because they've articulated things well over the years, they emoted all these years, that their level of intelligence is of equal value. That must come together where women do work on those things in order to have a very healthy, and you need a good facilitator like myself, not bragging. However, you need a healthy existence in order to bring that conversation together where the men and women come together. So you don't have the fighting, no blame, just conversation.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
So Marilyn said Lady Dawn B was eating Mike up. So I would like to say, so I'm gonna go back to some. If you can hit that like and share and subscribe button, we would love that. But as we start to wrap up, I want to say this. One, Pastor Bravo with Sheila said, "Where can we find the men? 137 men are at William Michael Barbie's." So we know where we need to go. And wait a minute. So as he knows, I am also an emotional intelligence coach. So all of that self-awareness. So
you taught me. What are you talking about? You taught me.
I know, but I'm saying, so I'm ready. So you ready, Lady Dawn B? It's 137.
All right, we gonna get 200. We gonna get. We gonna go bring him in.
We gonna apologize.
I apologize there.
We're gonna cover everybody all at once.
I knew what was coming. I already knew what was coming.
137 alpha males.
That's all right. We got
from pastors to doctors to convicted felons to millionaires to broke folks to contractors, retirees.
We got them all.
Hey,
tell us, just send us the link. I mean, just send us the address. Nothing. Lady Dawn B and I
need an apology. I ain't sending y'all.
That's right. They still need to give up.
I got low emotional intelligence right now.
Hey, talk about emotional intelligence. Okay, I hear that. Emotional. Okay.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
That the apologies are accepted and appreciated, and in addition to that, because it is fair, we have to be mature on both sides. Women, when men are, now voicing their emotions and feeling safe enough, we cannot turn around and this can't be the tit for tat moment. This is where we have to be quiet, receive it. Never mind all the other stuff. And when he's receive it and then affirm it. So I would say to the men, on behalf of the women, we apologize for mishandling your emotions and your expressions when you give them, and not making you feel safe enough to continue on in them, and not tearing them up, not presupposing what they should be, and not adding to it what we feel it should be. Because we do that sometimes. We will pick apart what a man says or what he is saying or when you're expressing. We have to learn how to plain and simply be quiet it. I think I'm buffering.
You are, but
You're back.
see,
Okay, I'm back. We don't have to like it, but we do have to respect it. So, on behalf of the women, I apologize for the times we did not respect your feelings, your emotions, and make it safe for you to share. And we hope that going forward, after we bring our snacks in the form of an apology along with our words to the 137 men, that we can move forward from here healthily together.
Oh my God.
How does that?
Well, that felt good, but we didn't hear from the other one. But we don't need to hear it now.
wait,
Okay?
hold on.
All right.
No, I was going to say I concur. I concur with what Lady Dawn B. Now, see, he just went for low emotional intelligence. Too bad
That's
he's
right.
not my student. I would grade differently now. But with that being said, this has been a wonderful evening of Monday Beyond the Mic. Just really quick, if we just wanted to wrap up, just give one word of advice or just something that you would say, what would it be? We'll start with Eric. Von Eric. Communication. Okay. You know what? We're going to save William Michael Barbie for last. What was yours? I would say it would be trust.
Mine would be honesty.
And mine would be forgive me. Aha. I'm speaking for Mike too. I love you guys and thank you for having us.
We thank you. And this concludes another wonderful Monday from Monday Beyond the Mic. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.
All I do is try to construe this life of mine, and soon one day I'll be able to say I made my way. Don't give up, keep on coming. No, never done. Keep on coming. No, you got